Hi there, welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Lindholm. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello, leader. Welcome back to the Fierce Factor podcast. It's your host, Kaylee here, and you are tuning in to episode number 292. And phew, I don't know about you, but I am feeling the energy of Q4, and emotions and anxiety seem to be heightened by all of this external chaos going on, the socioeconomic shifts, political instability that really never seems to reprieve. Yesterday, I sat at the airport on pins and needles watching flights to my right and left get canceled because of the government-related shutdowns that were impacting the FAA. It's like we dodge one catastrophe and then another strikes. All to say, year end is always a conflicting time for me personally, energetically, as a business owner. You know, it's traditionally our busy season in aesthetics. And I think we as leaders feel an inherent pressure to really drive our results to the finish line, to hit or, let's be honest, surpass our goals, to deliver on promises to our team, and to feel like the head down grind we endured all year shows for it in our bank account. And at the same time, we wrestle with the undercurrent of holiday pressures to decorate, shop, bake, mingle, jingle. And yet deep down, we just dream of space to actually relax into a nice, beautiful holiday slowdown. It's here, ladies. Most of my neighborhood took down Halloween and jumped right into Christmas decorations. I was like, I guess we're just skipping over Thanksgiving, which is another visible reminder that I'm once again behind on getting ahead. My point in sharing all this is the struggle is real. We are bombarded with demands and expectations as female entrepreneurs. And let's be honest, being pulled in conflicting directions is not our happy place. In fact, I am seeing now more than ever business leaders questioning all the things, their own wisdom and decision-making ability. And I don't know, maybe we're just plagued with decision fatigue, or we are scared to make a misstep when there's just so much on the line for us. To be honest, deep down, I think we all sit with this quiet whisper of insecurity around building a business because it's something we've never done. And as soon as we step over one hurdle, a new mountain appears right in front of us. And here we are back at the bottom of a new J-curve, back being an expert novice. It's a never-ending cycle of learning and growing. And the majority of women we work with at KLC are plagued with the beautiful high standard of perfectionism because they were rewarded their whole life for having good grades, for achievement, for surpassing expectations. And I imagine because you're a listener here that you can relate. And at times of uncertainty like this, we just feed our imposter syndrome because we're living in a climate of seemingly perpetual unknowing. And what do women of high agency like us do when we don't have answers? Well, we go find them. And here lies the underlying problem with outsourcing solutions. When we don't trust our own judgment, when we start seeking certainty from everyone else, we call the accountant, we poll our friends, we survey Facebook groups for averages, we wait for someone to tell us, yes, that's the right move. Well, the problem is that the more we do that, the quieter our own voice becomes. Because every time we look outward for validation, we're inherently teaching ourselves to distrust the voice that actually built the business that we have in the first place. That's what I want to remind you of today. You already have the answers. You don't need permission. You just need to trust yourself. That intuition and that deep knowing is one that's guided you through every bold move you've ever made. And it's still there. It doesn't just disappear because the economy feels uncertain or your membership launch didn't go exactly as planned, or we're looking at the clock and it's almost the end of 2025. It's just being drowned out by all of the incessant noise around us. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't seek support. You should absolutely have experts, advisors, and mentors around you. But remember that they're there to reflect back your own wisdom, to help you make the moves, not to tell you what move to make. Their job is to ask the right questions and honestly to remind you who the F you are. This is one of the reasons I believe we have a true expert crisis in our industry. Most of these coined quote unquote experts take boxed information they learned from someone else and they recycle it as chauffeured knowledge without really mastering the skill, one, of doing the thing themselves, most of them, and two, holding space for seeing patterns, habits, and constraints that are actually holding high growth women like us back. Last week, I had a call with a business owner who told me she was in dire need of direction and support to get her business back on track. She had achieved a level of success beyond her wildest dreams, fully booked, growing, loving the work she does, but she was beginning to feel buried by the demands of this growing empire. She found herself spending all of her free time trying to find ways to get her other provider booked out, create marketing, deal with patient issues, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on. You get it. We talked through this critical inflection point, the point where we meet many of our clients at KLC, where they begin to subtly experience this feeling of being burdened by their business. They feel kind of unexpectedly trapped. In fact, our clients will tell me that they took the massive risk of starting their business for the idea that they could do what they love without guidelines and restrictions and red tape. They were eager to challenge themselves in ways that they could just unleash their passion. And they wanted to impact more people, make more money, but do it on their own damn time. That worked for a while until they eventually find themselves in a place where the very freedom they created is the exact thing that is preventing them from getting out of the day-to-day service delivery in their business and fully stepping into their role as a confident CEO. Roadblocks, setbacks, unwelcome challenges, unexpected adversities, all this happens, and then we lose that uninhibited confidence and that fierce belief in the vision that that would become a reality no matter what. And what I see is women become scared to take risks and they start to lose faith in themselves and others, and then eventually lose patience in the process. And this was certainly the case for this talented business owner that I was chatting with. She thought what she needed was someone else's knowledge. I think the response was, I'll have to ask my accountant, which feels safe. But what I know from helping over 600 female entrepreneurs cross their next $1 million milestone is that asking someone else quietly transfers decision-making away from you as the CEO. And since we're being honest here, let's talk about the thing that keeps so many of us up at night at this time of year, the end of year numbers spiral. It's like the closer we get to the year end, the louder that little voice gets. Am I going to hit my goal? Did we grow enough? Will this be our best year yet? Or did I mess it up somewhere? You know what I'm talking about. You open your P&L and suddenly your entire worth as a leader starts writing on a spreadsheet. We obsess over revenue targets, profit margins, cost of goods, payroll percentages, because the numbers, they feel like they're truth. They feel measurable. They give us something solid to hold on to when everything else feels uncertain. And think of this irony. The truth actually is what you are living every single day. When you build your identity as a leader around your metrics, you lose sight of the bigger picture. You start managing your business from fear instead of vision. And I've been there staring at QuickBooks and doing mental math at midnight, wondering, where could I have done better? Wondering if I'm allowed to invest in something new when I haven't hit every single line on the forecast. But here's what I've learned over 10 years of running my company. The numbers are the reflection of my leadership, not the definition of it. So if you're constantly reacting to what's already happened, you're managing the past. The job of a CEO is to lead the future. Your accountant can help you balance the books, but only you can decide where to place your energy, what to invest in, and what will create momentum for your business going forward. You are the one who eats, sleeps, breathes, and dreams about your beautiful business. You. The numbers will never tell the full story. They won't tell you about the risks you took, the lessons you learned, the foundations you built, the things you did this year that will compound next year. They won't line item your resilience, your team's loyalty, or the reputation that you're building in your marketplace. And they certainly won't determine your future, but you will. What's happening here is we aren't just insourcing advice, we're outsourcing our confidence. And that's when we begin building a business that runs on other people's belief systems, their fears, their thresholds for risks, their definition of success. Are they building a life first business? And that's where I think most entrepreneurs get stuck. They're executing someone else's playbook instead of leading their own. So yes, surround yourself with people who challenge you, push you, who help you think bigger. But remember, their role is to remind you of what you already know. You're the one who decides what matters most. You're the one who defines what's worth it. You're the one experiencing your daily operating reality. So you get to be the one who takes the risks. You're the one who leads. Here's what I know is that setting the goal is the easy part. We love the vision boards, the planning, that feeling of momentum, but the journey to that goal, the adversity, the pivots, the fear, that's where leadership is actually built. And if you're in a season right now where things feel heavy or uncertain, I want to offer this reframe. You're not off track. You're just doing the damn thing. Every challenge is refining you and molding you and developing you into the woman who can hold the next level of success. You just can't outsource that process. You have to walk it. Confidence doesn't come from being told what to do. It comes from proving to yourself that you can do it. You can do hard things. It comes from leading through uncertainty and realizing, oh, I didn't die. I adapted. I learned. I overcame. I grew. That's leadership. The real CEO work isn't about having all the answers. It's about building the emotional and mental capacity to decide anyway, to trust that even if it's not perfect, even if you don't have all the data, even if you fall flat on your face, you will figure it out. That is what makes you unstoppable. And that's why coaching, when it's done right, isn't about giving you more information. It's about helping you remember your power, helping you rebuild that internal certainty. Now that's what you deserve in your corner. So if you've been waiting for a sign or for permission or for everything to just make sense before you move forward, let's just let this be it. You are the CEO. You set the direction. You make the call. You have been equipped with everything you need to lead. The strategy, the intuition, the grit, the resilience, it's all there. You just have to stop second guessing the woman who built this. I like to remind myself of this credo. Advice is input, but authority is mine. So stop waiting for permission to lead, goddess. You already have it. And if today's conversation hit home, if you've been feeling the weight of decision fatigue, questioning your next move, or wondering why growth suddenly feels heavier than it used to, I built something special just for you. It's called the Ultimate Practice Growth Audit. Here's why it matters. So many female founders are doing all the right things. They're busy, their team's working hard, but the results have stalled. So they start doubting themselves, tweaking marketing, hiring more help, chasing the next tactic, when the real issue isn't effort. It's just about having clarity. You can't lead confidently when you're guessing where the real bottleneck is. So this audit I created walks you through a deep, honest look at your business, the one you're actually running, not the one you think you're running. And in this audit, you'll uncover the true capacity of your team and where burnout is quietly brewing, the leadership gaps stealing your energy and confidence. You'll find out whether you have a marketing issue or a structure issue, and most importantly, what to do next. When you stop outsourcing your certainty and start trusting your own data and discernment, that's when your momentum returns. Download it now at klcconsultants.com/growth audit. That's KLCConsultants.com/growth audit, GROWTHAUDIT. And I'll automatically save you a seat for my upcoming free strategic planning masterclass that's going to be on December 5th, where we will turn your insights from this audit into your 2026 operating plan. So it's time to stop guessing. It's time to start building a life first business your way. You already have what it takes. Now let's make it work for you. So again, head to klcconsultants.com/growth audit, or you can download in the show notes. I'll put the link in there for you to download the free audit. Let's make some bold moves to catapult into 2026 together, leader. We got this. Thanks for tuning in today. I'll see you same place, same time next week. Listen, leader, if you're vibing with me here, hang tight. because I have a brand new resource for you. You are a successful, confident, powerful woman who just isn't into being average. No, you have a calling, and part of that calling is requiring you to level up. And I know that if you're working to cross the next $1 million milestone in your business, you need to be in the right circles. And perhaps that's why you found us. I'd love to invite you to join The Blueprint, a weekly resource for inspired, provocative thinkers who are taking this conversation to the next level. Get access to free business tools, podcast supplements, guideposts, and direct communication with me and my expert team. And of course, a masterfully curated circle of women making big moves and disrupting the status quo in aesthetics and wellness. You can link directly through the show notes or head to klcconsultants.com/blueprint. It's time to elevate. See you there, goddess.